Alright, I'll get it started in just a second. Alright, we ready?
Yeah, we're rolling.
Alright, welcome to the Level Up Life. What's up? Welcome to the Level Up Life podcast. I'm Scotty and I'm here with my guest Tyler Brown. And I'm excited to talk with you guys. He is the founder of Aped Fitness, and I'm here to discover a little bit about his business and what makes him successful and what drives him. So, Tyler, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
I just growing up, country kid. I was born in Tennessee, lived there until I was about 9 years old. Ended up just having some divorce in the family and everything, and moved down to Georgia. Lived there till I was about 19, 20. Around that time, not too long before I moved, actually, I went to Marine Corps boot camp, ended up getting hurt coming home. Funny enough, was never really big into fitness and working out. It just wasn't something popular where I was from, especially not in my family, at least. And then I ended up moving to Utah with a friend of mine in 2017, and that kind of all changed. So definitely a lot more popular out this way on the West Coast. So
awesome. So you weren't really into working out or fitness. Do you remember your first workout or what inspired you to do your first workout?
I don't remember my first workout, but I do remember one that will always probably stick with me. So at the gym that I was going to, it's called Bailey's. I think Bailey's Powerhouse Gym or something like that. And it's I actually went there recently. I went to visit a couple of weeks ago, so it felt good to go in there and actually get a good workout in, because my first experience was a lot different. I went in there. There was a guy. He kind of almost looked reminded me like a Sean T or a David Goggins type of guy. And tall, dark-skinned guy that's pretty muscular and fit, and he was a personal trainer. And so I went in one day and somehow I started talking to him about getting training. He's like, "Here, I'll do it. We can do a workout right now." And it's just like, oh man. And funny enough, I'd actually stopped by and eaten. I think it was like a Hardee's, like a hot ham and cheese or something like that before I went somewhere to eat some fast food stuff. Because, just some kid, don't really know any better. And I went in and worked out with him, and he had me doing some high intensity stuff. I mean, probably not looking back, it probably wasn't that crazy, but he had me doing some burpees and some pull-ups and just back to back. And I remember after I was like, man, I was in a pretty rough way. I think I ended up tapping out on him. I pushed myself, and I didn't feel so good. And so sure enough, I ended up going to the locker room. A bunch of older guys were in there, and as soon as I walked in, I just puked all over the floor.
That's fun.
And I ended up talking to him after it, and he was like, "Did you eat or something right before you came?" And I told him. He's like, "Yeah, that was your problem." And so, that was kind of how my first experience went, or one of my first ones.
Kind of like mine. I did a P90X workout for my first one, chest and back. It was just push-ups and pull-ups, and I remember I definitely had to tap out too. I passed out. So getting started is not easy for anyone. So it's definitely something you need to ease into. That's awesome. So so you have this brand, Aped Fitness. I see the ape. Yep. I love the logo on your hoodie. You can see it back here.
Yeah, thanks.
Like every time I see that, I'm like, this is a cool looking brand. So tell me, where did this career start in building this business?
I always knew I'd be an entrepreneur and want to have my own businesses, and hopefully this will be the first of many. But I never thought it'd be pre-workout, obviously, because I never was into fitness until literally. It's end of 2000s. Well, I guess 2015 is when I went to boot camp. So, 8 years now. I moved to Utah and I started getting into supplements and stuff. And there were a few brands, I won't mention any names, but that really caught my attention that I used for 4 or 5 years. And I just started to realize, there was, a few things missing. A few things I could improve on. And so, one week I had COVID, and I was inside for that week, and I just wanted to make the best use of my time I could. And one of the things that I did was I had this idea, and I started researching it. And that week, I came up with, wish I had it pulled up, and I could show you my original ape that I thought would look good. And looking back on it now, it looks terrible compared to this one. And so, thanks for spacing on his name now, but Mr. Knighting, Doug, that helped me out with it. So. Anyways, that week I came up with the general idea of what I wanted the logo to be. I knew what I wanted the name to be, and I also had found the manufacturer that I'd be using all this time later for the pre-workout, all in that week, probably within the span of a day or two. So that's pretty cool. The flavors as well, and the general idea of what I wanted the formula to be and so on. So, yeah, that's pretty much how it started.
Basically just sat down during COVID with pen and paper.
Yeah,
Sort of writing down the ideas that were coming into your mind and
yeah,
researching.
Pretty much. So thanks to COVID.
That's awesome. So a lot of people might have sat back and played like a victim or like poor me or what am I gonna do?
Yeah, it was a rough week too. It was kind of funny looking back. I had a week where at the time I broke up with my girlfriend. I had not lost a job. I basically quit the job. It just wasn't not working out. And got COVID all in that week, and so that was a pretty pivotal week looking back, because now I'm married, not the same girl. I ended up moving to Idaho I was in Utah at the time, since then, which is where I met my current wife, and this is where we officially started the business at. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So the idea was born in like this week span. It really came to life. So that was in COVID, so it's been a couple years now.
Yep.
So tell me about your first year, your first couple years of business.
Yeah, so we've been, I guess, officially, unofficially in business. You know, if you count really that, well, count the time that I thought about it, because there was a span of about over 5 months before I actually started doing a ton with that, but at least a few months. So anyway, that was the beginning of 2022. So we've been in business a little over a year now, and yeah, it's, I don't know, just a roller coaster. I mean, you gotta, in order to do a business like this, is the reason a lot of people don't start supplement companies. I mean, if they don't do it the same way that we did it, which in my opinion is the right way to do it. Because we've invested a lot of time and a ton of money into creating our own formula. You know, we've taken the correct steps, obviously, to come up with, you know, a logo, a name that's, you know, that's cool, that's unique, and that, you know, again, you know, people recognize. And so the marketing part of it, we put a lot of time into. And yeah, I'd say it's just a roller coaster, but all the highs they're highs that you can't find anywhere else. You know, they can only be found through starting your own business. Like, there's feelings that I've had. And I've done a lot of things in my short 27 years of existence, but starting a business is something I've learned things, and I've, you know, felt things that I never felt before, which is awesome. And obviously some of those on the negative side, you know, are not as good, and you know, you have hard times where you want to maybe give up, or you're questioning, like, why am I doing this? But for me at this point, you know, with this business and with any future business, like, I do it for passion. Like, it's a passion for me, and so profit, money, all that kind of stuff, that'll come in the long run whenever it comes, but it's not my main focus, and so that's why I'm always able to keep going, no matter how difficult it gets at times. So
I like that. I like the word passion. In my mind, I was thinking obsessed a little bit. Would you say?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're obsessed with it.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because I'm the type of person that I am. Obviously, as you can tell, a very serious person. I like to take things serious in life, because life's dealt me some interesting cards, and so I'm always kind of like on defense, you know, looking for the next punch to be thrown. Basically, it feels like at times, and so you know, I'm not just the guy that's joking around, just laughing, having a good time, because, you know, that's not how life has been to me. And so with this business, I'm just, sorry, what was your question again? I got lost for a second.
I was like, it seems like you're obsessed about it. You think about it all the time, working on it all the time.
Yeah, so I thought in the past I've been obsessed about things until this business, and that's actually now where I look, I'm like, no, I'm pretty obsessed about this. Yeah. And it comes naturally. You can't force being obsessed about something. Like, you know, you put in the actions, but your actions at some point have to lead to your thoughts, because your thoughts are what cause the actions. At this point, I don't have to really force myself to think about anything. Like, automatically my thoughts are already, you know, revolving around this business. You know, from when I wake up to when I go to sleep, that's what I'm thinking about, and I don't have to force that. My mind does that on its own. Yeah. You know, and it's because I've continued to put in so much action, and I have that passion for what I'm doing, and I don't know, it just happens.
Yeah, it makes sense. I know a lot of people want to get into a business, but have this employee type mindset, where they need to be told what to do. But when you get obsessed about what your business is or your idea is, you can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, like, and one thing I'd say with that too is, like, you know, I've done over 20 jobs. You know, I was considered the job hopper growing up, and completely proud of it, because I'm a very loyal person to people when it comes to businesses. I just don't look at it the same way. I'm just like, if someone else is going to pay me more money for my time, then that's what I'm going to do. Like, I only have so much time in my day, and I'm only one person. So, these jobs, these businesses, they can find other employees. And so that's how I always was growing up. And so I always encourage that for people. It's like, don't just stick with a job. Don't get comfortable with a job that's just a job for you anyways. If you agree that it's not a passion, you're just doing it to make money and to survive, if you can find another job, I don't care if it's going to be harder. I don't care if it's going to, you have to drive a little bit further for it. I mean, I don't care if, it's something you're going to have to learn. If it's going to pay you more money, then why don't you just go do it if you're already doing a job just to make money anyways? And so I always had that outlook, and I didn't mind walking into a new job, within, 6 months after starting the last job, because I didn't mind learning something new. I always knew whatever it was, I was going to learn how to do it. So if you wanted me to clean toilets, if you're going to pay me enough money, I'll clean your toilets. I don't care. And I never looked at a job as too low. And so pretty much anything you can think of, I did that. But the one thing I'll say, going back to the original question, is that the one thing that prepared me for this is doing commission-based jobs. So I've been selling door-to-door for 4 years straight, and actually started a mission for my church for 2 years during that time. So for 6 years, I either worked for only commission or worked for free. And so for doing that, and making my own hours, making the choice every day, decisions throughout the entire day to go out and work and get what I want, it prepared me for this. So anyone that feels like, you want to start a job or you want to start a business, but you don't really trust yourself, you don't believe in yourself to be able to be driven enough or motivated enough to stay consistent, because if you're not consistent, you don't want to start a business. And so, so for all those people, I would say the best advice I would give you personally is, find a job that pays you for what you put in. Find a commission-based job, do that first, then go and start your business, because that'll prepare you more than anything. That'll test you and help you to realize, it's not, you're not being told what to do. You wake up whenever you feel like waking up, you go to sleep when you feel like sleeping, and you do whatever you want during that day if you're not working for anyone. So
I love that. My wife and I talk about that all the time, how we always try to evaluate, okay, what makes someone successful, or what made me successful, so we can teach it to someone else. And a lot of times it goes back to my mission as well, like learning how to knock on doors, connect with someone, make an invite, share a message, follow up, and do it consistently without getting paid for it or expecting anything in return. So I love that you shared that experience, and then your door-to-door sales as well, and that's some great advice. So I want to circle back to something you said. You said and we're not going to name companies, but you said some pre-workouts or supplements are not made very well, and you put a lot of work into yours. I don't think a lot of people understand the concept of how some people slap a label on. If you want to explain that a little bit.
So again, Google's your best friend. That's pretty much, I pretty much learned this in the first day or two of researching this back over a year and a half ago or whatever. That there's two ways you can create supplements, and this goes for, I haven't done enough research to know all the supplements that it applies to, but I'm pretty sure pretty much any health supplement or any dietary supplement, you can do one or two things. You can do white label or you can do private label. And so I knew from the very beginning is that for me, I'm not a white label person. I'm a very opinionated person. I have my own set of morals that I live by. I don't allow anyone to stray me away from what I believe and what I know. I don't care to be unique. I don't care to be different. I don't care to be the one that's liked by everyone. I'm my own person. I always will be that way. And so that kind of fed into me starting this business from the beginning, is that I can take someone else's idea, exactly what they're already selling, the same exact formula, and I can put my label and logo on there, and I can sell that, and I can try to be excited about it. But again, I didn't do this for money, right? So if you go back from the very beginning, if I would have been doing it for money, then I would have gladly taken someone else's product and just said, oh, this is a cool logo and a cool name, just sell that. Just sell the logo and the name. And it would have been a lot cheaper. It would have taken a lot less time, a lot less effort, and so on. But I needed to have something I knew that I believed in, and I needed to, and the whole reason I was creating this business is because I felt like it from the very beginning that I had something new that I could offer that would be beneficial. So we did the private label. So essentially, going through, working with the manufacturer, taking a list of all the ingredients that you've done your research on, send it to them, say, hey, this is what I want to make my product out of. I want it to contain these ingredients, this amount, and everything. And then they will say, okay, yeah, we can formulate that for you. No, we can't, because there's obviously certain things that are banned, and go through FDA approval and all that kind of stuff. and yeah, they make it for you. You take 4 months to get it in, and you got to put all the money in up front, kind of thing. And yeah, that's just what we did. We did it, the best way that we knew how to do it. So
I love that. I love that you formulated something that you believed in and that you could put your name behind. And I think that's important in any business. That it's something that you could put your name behind. I've been offered to do other things online to make money, and I've seen people that are have similar influence to me go do it and earn hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're telling I get invited to do it, and I'm like, that's not something I can put my name behind. So I love that you created your own thing. It's something you can back. So tell me, I have a question. It's been a few years, a couple years you've been building this business. What's been the hardest challenge that you've had to overcome?
I'd say there's a couple of challenges. I guess one for me, because a lot of times you're the one that creates the obstacles, especially when it comes to business. And one for me is just doing my best not to be the beggar, not to be the one that's reaching around all the time trying to pull on all the strings. You have people, like you said, reaching out about different opportunities. I don't quite have those kind of people reaching out for those big opportunities like that, but I look around and I see there's a lot of ways that I could possibly grow my business, maybe even faster, or by spending a certain amount of money or whatever. And I've just had to continue to say no. And I've had a couple instances where luckily people around me have helped me to make those decisions, and realize you gotta just be patient, and just be consistent on the things you know how to do and that have gotten you to a certain point. So that's probably been a pretty big one, is just to be patient and to realize it's going to come when it comes, and it's just little by little. And as far as other big challenges, I don't know, I guess just finding help. I mean, you can only do so much on your own, but you can do a lot more on your own than you think you can, because I've definitely proven that to myself. I never thought half the things I do with this business now I'm doing on my own, from at this point even printing clothing, taking pictures for products and things, and editing these things, posting them, commenting, liking, messaging, all the social media stuff. So just finding good help, but at the same time finding a good balance, because you can do a lot of things on your own, but at some point you have to reach out and let people help you. So
I like that. I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss when they want to start a business. You don't realize that you have to be the social media expert, marketer, the clothing designer, the everything, the shipping guy.
And a lot of people that start a business, they always the first word I can guarantee that pops in their head is money. Most people always think the businesses are going to be expensive, and that's true. But I think I read a thing recently that says the average business, it was somewhere around a few $1,000 or something is what they said the average business to start it is cost. I wish that's all that our business costs. That'd be awesome. But I think people put just these big numbers in their head, and it's really the main thing you need is just to be able to work hard. If you can work hard on something and realize and have very low expectations, and realize that you're going to work a lot, you're going to put in more hours than you really ever have with pretty much anything else that you've ever done, and you're going to get the least results back, or not results, I shouldn't say that, but least reward. You're not going to make money probably for a while with it, and so on. It's going to be hard. But if you can have that expectation and just be willing to put in the work, everything else will work out. So for me, I just, every time something's come up and I'm like, yeah, I could pay somebody to do this. It's pretty expensive, but can I figure out how to do it on my own first? And I've always just kind of went that route. So for most things that we do here, it's very rare that we pay somebody to do it for us.
Yeah, I think that's how most businesses need to start.
Yep.
And putting in that work and being willing to learn all the skills necessary for that.
Yep.
And there's so many things out there, businesses I think about. You were mentioning that, and my brother-in-law in Salt Lake has an incredible business now where he just hauls off trash from construction sites and people's homes. And it started with just his pickup truck, and so it doesn't cost a tremendous amount, but then eventually, as he got more business, he got a dump trailer and stuff like that. So it doesn't take a lot, just the willingness to work and get yourself out there. So you're doing all of these tasks and I've seen your operations here on your own. You've just explained that you're doing the majority of it on your own right now, and that's how it is in the beginning. Does it ever overwhelm you? And if it does, like, how do you cope with or deal with that?
Yeah, sometimes I definitely. I mean, it's it's thoughts and feelings. They come and go just like anything else that's going on in life. And for me, I definitely have those days where I was actually explaining it to my barber earlier today. Where I wake up in the morning, and most days, because again, it really is one of the first things that comes to my mind. I obviously say my prayers in the morning. I think about God, I think about my family, and all that. But I also, and during that first, 20, 30 seconds of waking up, like that's one of the first things that pop in my mind is the business. And so most of those mornings when I think about the business, I'm excited and I have those feelings of thinking about what I'm going to do and, thinking, okay, this is how I'm going to plan everything out for the day. And I'm excited about it. And then there's other days where it literally just feels like, a big pile of bricks just on my chest, and I look like I'm just looking straight up mountain, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm in this position. I got to climb this thing today,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it goes both ways, but.
Awesome. And so what do you do like when you feel like that?
Yeah.
The bricks on your chest. What
do
you do to center yourself or?
Yeah. I mean,
it's
personal for everyone. I mean, I don't believe in a ton of like general things necessarily. I mean, aside from obviously I work out every day. Of course, I think that's huge. I try to eat as best as I can. I think that's big. Get enough sleep, all that kind of stuff, to where the stress doesn't hopefully overwhelm you. But I don't know. I really try to remind myself of all the progress so far, remind myself of the potential. I remind myself why I started in the first place. And then like I explained to you earlier when we talked, is I just remind myself, of how much I've invested, that's time and a lot of money. And so if you can go through and just think about all those things, and you get yourself recentered again, and then all those kind of thoughts and feelings usually go away. And the next best step after that, obviously, is to take action. So you're stressed out about stuff because of a certain reason. You don't get stressed out or overwhelmed for no reason. If you were making, $1 million a day, and you only had to work an hour a day, and the business is fine, you're probably not going to be stressing out too much.
Yeah.
But I would always say there's always something, because even the days when things have been really well, and even the times when I've got the biggest news ever, some of those days still by the end of the day, I'm like, oh man, that was a cool event that happened, but I'm still in a situation where I still gotta get up every morning and work hard to keep this thing growing and going along. And so, that's pretty much what I would say. Awesome. Just think things through, realize where you're at and where you came from and where you're at now, and then just take action. So
I love that. So I've been watching your social media ever since I first met you, and like from the outside looking in, like the brand looks awesome. I see you doing incredible things, Black Friday sales. I see the fitness models, and I see people tagging you in their stories with the stuff. And from the outside, like I'm a business owner, so I know kind of what's going on and how you're building your business. But from someone on the outside looking in, they could be like, this thing is just thriving and just so easy. So I love that you're sharing all that, so you can share that it is hard work and it's a grind. Because I never want someone to get into a business that's not prepared to put in the work.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't want them to waste their time in that. So one thing that I loved listening to you is I've been through some academies from some mentors of mine. One of them was a high performance academy. He works with some billionaire clients. He worked with the President of the United States. Worked with Oprah Winfrey. And one of the main things that he teaches to business owners is the importance of sleep, your nutrition, and exercise.
Yep.
And how a lot of people are like, I don't have enough time. I'm running this business to exercise or to meal prep or to sleep. But you'll actually be more effective when you do those things. So I love that you kind of mentioned doing your workouts and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not perfect with it, and I'm sure every business owner feels this way. There's sometimes where all of a sudden, you've probably been in that situation many times where it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you haven't eaten lunch, and sometimes when it's, past noon, you haven't eaten breakfast yet or whatever, and you're like, oh man, but you start to feel it. And so, it's pretty easy to see, like you said, that you're going to be a lot more effective when you're trying to, keep on top of all those things.
Take care of your health and all that. So when I get overwhelmed, when I get like feeling like there's just so much pressure or so many things to respond to or fires to put out and whatnot, I just take a nap. That's my thing these days.
Yeah.
So I've worked full time for myself for 12 years. So sometimes it'll be like 11:30, and I've dealt with, let's say, a lot more than I wanted to. In 5 hours, I'll go to sleep for 45 minutes. I'll wake up like it's a brand new day. I'll take some pre-workout, and it'll be like, I'm like, it's a whole new day. So that's my thing, is I'll just unplug, take a nap, and come back.
That's awesome.
Because if you have that feeling and you go into your next meeting or your next appointment and you're frustrated or upset or thinking about something, it's not going to end up good. So that's my take, is naps are my key. So what's your favorite part of running this business, of your career running this business?
That's a good question. There's probably, I guess, two big things really. I mean, I think the first one is creating. I like taking something and turning it into, or taking nothing and turning it into something, right? So whether it's, we, have like a little photo shoot or something like that, and we, get some content from people, and all of a sudden you see the final product, which is like a reel, where it's all put together, music on top of it, everyone's looking like they're having fun, it looks cool, and you post it. That right there is, like a really good feeling to me. And the same thing goes with like clothing and stuff. It's like, I love when we get something that's just, some plain clothing, we get our label and everything on there, logo and all that good stuff. We do whatever we want to it, and just seeing that end result. And another thing I'd say for sure, which I think this is probably like a key between this one and the other one. I feel like these are two key things for entrepreneurs. This is how you're an entrepreneur. If you like creating something, and obviously not all businesses are about creating. I mean, probably a lot of the most successful businesses are actually, in fact, about taking something that already exists and making it better, or bringing it to the world when it doesn't have a lot of popularity or whatever. But in a lot of cases, I feel like it's wanting to be creative, create something new, or something that you're improving and making your own. The other thing is creating something that people like, and I think that's something that's been cool too. Is seeing like taking me from that little room, of thinking of this name and this logo and what I wanted to do, and then here a year and a half later, it's we're not obviously huge, not yet at least, but seeing, like you said, people that are buying our stuff or whatever, and they're posting about it and they're telling their friends, and sometimes going into public on occasion at least, and seeing like, oh, people use our stuff, they like our stuff, and so those are probably the two biggest ones. Yeah.
I like that. How's it feel when you walk in and see someone with your Aped on?
I don't see that actually super often, as much as I'd like to. That'd be cool. Normally when I don't, honestly, I don't really think I've seen much of that yet, man, besides like friends and stuff. But it's cool when I see my friends wear it. So when I go obviously to like when we do a photo shoot or something like that, everyone will be wearing our stuff and they'll be excited about it. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. It's funny, one of my partners actually, he's had that experience more than me. He saw some kids walking down the street with it, and he went to the gas station a week ago, and he's talking to the cashier, and he saw my partner wearing the shirt. He's like, "Oh, you know about Aped?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I've been involved with this stuff." So that's pretty cool. So I haven't had a ton of those experiences yet, but I'm looking forward to having more of those. I think it's cool.
We got to get the word out there more.
Yeah.
I was talking to some kids at the gym the other day, and I was like, "Have you seen that Aped?" Because it was you weren't there, and I told you I was going to get a picture, but I'd left town. They were sampling it,
Yeah.
and there was some kids drinking. I was like, the guy that created that works out here, and they're like, "What? He does?" And they were so pumped to hear that. So we got to get that word out more.
That's cool.
So I'll try to spread the word as well. So those are some of your favorite things. What are some of your least favorite things? Or what's your least favorite thing about?
I don't know. I mean, I guess a couple of things. I mean, at first, when you're just starting, you're not being compensated for it at all. You're just growing the business. So, again, it's a passion thing for me, so I don't mind putting in the work and everything. Obviously, at some point, it'll be nice to see a little bit come back. It's a little bit of reward. But for me right now, I mean, my reward is, again, is seeing something new and seeing people, that enjoy it, which is awesome. The other thing I'd say is just managing so many different things at once, being, in a lot of different positions. But starting out on your own as a new company, especially in this kind of industry, I mean, again, it's got to be pretty much an expectation, right? I can't pay all these people for several reasons. Obviously, like financially, it just cost a ton of money. I mean, even someone who manages my social media actually reached out a couple weeks ago because she's been following us. She liked a lot of our stuff.